Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and today we're going to be having a look at the latest on Storm Darcy, along with the beast from the east pattern we're going to be seeing over the next 5 days and potentially beyond. We'll start off with the low resolution models for the snow that's going to be coming tonight into tomorrow, and then have a look at what's going to be happening early next week as well. Now, it's very interesting, it's very uncertain, even though we're only 12 hours out from the heavy snowfall starting to fall persistently in the southeast. It's still quite uncertain exactly how much you're going to see and where, but we'll run for the models just to see what they're showing for the 12Z runs. So we'll look at the GFS. It does normally overdo the snow a little bit, so you see it's not snowing that much over northern England at the moment. There is snow around, and rain around London area is nowhere near as heavy as that where I am right now. It will start to readily turn to snow further southwards around midnight, and it's all going to turn to snow by early in the morning, and you can see quite heavy snow from the GFS in the southeast quadrant. Now, I suspect it could be a little bit more widespread than that initially, but it will, coming into midday tomorrow, it does look more confined, but it is looking quite showery, which is very interesting to see, because that does mean that there's potential that it comes further inland. Because at the moment, a lot of people are suggesting it's going to be heavy snow towards the coast, and further inland not see as much. But I suspect if it's quite showery, there's a chance that it does, if it moves a bit further westwards, areas further inland could see quite a lot of snow. And as we look at the high resolution models, you see what I mean by it's quite showery and working into more of a like bands. So when we look at the more high resolution models, you'll be able to see that a bit more clearly. But as we head through Monday, snowing around the southeast for most of the day. If you're not in that heavy snow, you're more in the sort of showery outbreak. Again, the GFS is overdoing the snow, but that's where we're going to be seeing the snow potential. Even southwestern parts, even further west, looks like showers are going to be getting through. Where these heavier bits are, that's where we could be seeing streamers. So I suspect, even with the snow depths, might be underdoing what we could be seeing. Beyond that, that snow in the southeast does sort of peter out and turn a lot more showery, and then we start to see potentially for some heavy snow for southwestern areas coming into south coast. Again, it's very uncertain how north that moves. Again, there's differing views on all the models at the moment, and again, one we have to look at near the time. But again, maintaining those easterly winds with heavy snow showers will go out to later in the week, just to maybe give some hints at what we could be seeing. Again, it's not decided yet, but we could be seeing some massive snow events, maybe Thursday, Friday next week, as it's looking quite likely that these weather fronts will come up against the cold air and stall. Now, it does look likely that this will snow on the leading edge of the weather front, but it does look like at the moment the weather front will bring milder air perhaps to some western areas, and further eastwards and northwards will be better for the heavy snow before you see the weather front just gets completely stalled and peters out. And then by the end of the run, we're turning very anticyclonic into a big area of high pressure, and then possibly turning the winds back into the east. But again, it's in the longer range there, so we won't look at that. If we have a look at the snow depths again, these will vary from what the GFS is showing, again because of the showery nature of this easterly wind. I suspect in southeastern parts it will be modelled better, but it won't be exact, as it will still be very showery. You can see there could be some widespread accumulations tonight, even for western areas, southwestern areas, over the hills, as we have sort of those showery outbreaks turning readily to snow overnight. It depends how quickly the cold air does undercut it to see how much snow we could be seeing. And then you see the heavy snow in the southeast. You see, mainly we see that amber warning zone, parts of North Kent, Essex, into Norfolk, Suffolk. We could be seeing 10, 20 centimetres. Even further westwards, the models are starting to show potential for 5 to 10 centimetres. Again, because of the sort of showery nature, bands further westwards could be seeing 10 to 15 centimetres. Again, very difficult to see that. It's going to be very much radar watching. So head through Tuesday, widespread snow, especially further eastwards, perhaps even westwards and south western parts as well. And then heavy snow comes in for the south. You see Southern Ireland seeing a bit of snow, southwestern areas seeing a bit of snow on Wednesday, and still heavy showers packing into the east. Decent covering, 5 to 10 centimetres quite widely. And then as we head through Thursday, you see big snow event, widely areas seeing 5-10 centimetres plus. On this sort of central belt, again, most areas will be seeing very decent covering of snow if that did come off. Again, it's very difficult to tell at the moment, as it is still a good 4 or 5 days away. Beyond that, you see the high pressure builds over, but it's going to be a cold high, so I don't suspect a lot of the snow will be melting that much. It probably will melt a little bit in the day as the sun comes out, but it will readily freeze overnight with probably some very low temperatures. And you can see generally, as we go into the more low resolution part of the GFS, it does remain around 5-10 centimetres quite widely, so we could be going into a very, very prolonged cold spell here. I don't really want to delve into that too much, as it still can change, and not every model's on board, and it's not all the ensembles still show different solutions, but again, it could just be showing what we could be seeing in the future. We'll stay with another low-resolution model in the GM, again looking at trends. The GM is better at modelling more the shower activity than the GFS, but again, it's not as high resolution as some other models we'll be looking at later in the video. You can see overnight tonight, readily turns to snow around midnight, 3 a.m. Readily turns snow, and this is what I mean by it could be a bit more widespread overnight, while you could see some snow further westwards. Again, it'll be difficult to accumulate, as it will only snow for maybe an hour or two, and the ground will be a bit wet and be a little bit mild and warm on the ground, so you might not see too much accumulations. But the further eastwards you are, the more the snow is persistent. You can see very heavy snow potentially there, and as we head through Monday, it does turn more showery, and you see those streamer outbreaks. So again, streamers coming in across the south coast, even parts of eastern England into the central England, another across North Midlands, and then northern England into Scotland, potentially seeing streamers there. As we head through Tuesday, again, more streamers packing in. Then we see that potential little snow event for Tuesday into Wednesday. For southwestern areas, a bit further southwards, but again, position is not exactly known in the models at the moment. And as we head through Thursday, see a big snow event arriving. It does peter out though. Looks like the stall is further south and southwestwards. So perhaps southwestern areas could do very well if that stalls in that position. As we head through again, another big weather front coming through. Looks like it's really going to help out Scotland, seeing some very heavy snow with that. So yeah, very interesting with that. See, this is why I say don't have a look at exactly what's going to be happening sort of from Wednesday onwards, because again, it's very uncertain exact tracks of the lows. And how far those weather fronts get through the country. So yeah, it's going to be very difficult forecasting next week, but we could see a dumping of snow in some regions on top of whatever we see in the next few days. We'll now move on to another more high resolution model, the Icon model, and we'll have a look at what that's showing. So yeah, overnight tonight does readily to snow around midnight, 3 a.m. Over higher ground will definitely help, but then it will all turn to snow, and you can see the Icon does show it does readily turn to snow and remain snowing in the southeast corner. Again, I suspect it may get a bit more further inland than that, because it has a very sharp drop off there. I suspect there may be some more showery sort of snowy outbreaks further westwards, but again, probably won't accumulate too much through Sunday. And you can see maintains that snow, and then it turns more showery through Monday, and you can see potential for maybe a Thames streamer, some more streamers further northwards, and maybe some snow in the southwest as well. And again, I think the Icon is underdoing the shower activity, certainly, but you can see generally where the snow is impacting the coastline, it'll be coming a bit further inland than that. So yeah, heavy snow around with that. And then we see potentially snow on Thursday starting to come into the southwest. So again, that's something to watch. Again, it's not in the resolution of the model yet. It's too far out of its time frame, but again, very interesting with that. We'll have a look at the snow depths, and the Icon has been looking like it's very underdoing the snow depths at the moment. But again, it does give you a general idea where we could be seeing some snow, and some heavy snow with that. As you can see, accumulations, maybe 2-3 a.m. this morning we could start to be accumulations. I suspect maybe a bit earlier than that. Just simply because it does look like it'll be snowing earlier than that, and it should readily settle readily settle if you get enough intensity and for more than a couple hours, as the cold air will be seeping through the atmosphere. But as you can see, through Sunday, heavy snow in the southeast. Again, the Icon is underdoing it, as Met Office has issued a warning for potentially 15, 20 to maybe even 30 centimetres. So the Icon only showing 5 or 6 centimetres is very much underdoing it. But then it gives you hope. These areas where they're only seeing 1 or 2 centimetres, perhaps could be seeing maybe 5 or 10 centimetres of snow. Beyond that, you see heavy snow remains in the southeast and then potentially southwestern areas through Wednesday. And then again, you see a lot of like light blue showing a little bit of snow in the ground, and I suspect the icon again is underdoing it. But yeah, still showing widespread snow and potentially snow accumulations with that. We'll now go on to another high resolution model, even more high resolution model, with the Arome. So we'll run through that quickly. Only goes out to 48 hours, so we'll only really be able to have a look at Sunday and Monday. And if we run through it, you can see redly turns to snow overnight tonight. Around midnight to 1, 2 a.m, that's when it turns really to snow, and then sort of maintains in the southeast. You can see maybe getting into parts of London early Sunday morning, but mainly towards sort of Suffolk, Norfolk and Kent. It does look like it pulls a bit eastwards during the day on Sunday, before returning perhaps maybe a little bit more westwards overnight Sunday into Monday. You can see those showers start to move further inland. You can see why it's sort of showery and why we could be seeing some varying snow amounts. And again, so you look like streamers with that. So again, it could show some more significant snowfall further inland with the Arome. And I am seeing that similar sort of trend with the heavy snow streamer sort of pattern with a lot of models. And as we head through Monday, you can see a lot of snow showers packing in. Again, it's probably underdoing the amount of snow showers packing in, and especially how far westwards it gets. And again, it won't be in these exact positions, but again, it shows you the general pattern where the energy is. So again, even southeastern parts, perhaps the persistent snow might stop, but you still have some very heavy showers moving in. We'll have a look at the accumulated snow. Again, this is only snow accumulating from the start of this run, so midday. And as we run through the Arome, you can see snow starts to readily accumulate in the Midlands around midnight tonight, and then in the southeastern areas, perhaps late tonight into early morning. Readily accumulates for the southeastern areas and perhaps getting a bit far inland into maybe London area again. And as we head through the run, you can see it further inland as we get into Monday. And again, sort of the bullseye point, North Kent, parts of Suffolk, perhaps Norfolk, seeing maybe 10, 15, 20 centimetres, and further westwards, maybe seeing 5 to 10 centimetres. Again, it's very difficult to forecast this. All we need is that to shift 50 miles westwards, and those big snow totals will be affecting London, and I suspect an amber warning could be enforced if that happens. But again, it will be a very nowcast situation. We'll now move on to the WRF. Again, another high resolution model, only going out to 36 hours, unfortunately. But as we run through, you can see heavy rain currently, and it does start to turn to snow for western areas. You can see maybe some snow there for western areas, past Wales, maybe into getting even to southwestern areas before readily turning to snow overnight. So a bit early on the WRF with the snow, around maybe 11 midnight tonight, and then it remains in the southeast, perhaps coming a bit further inland than the earlier models were showing. Maybe parts of London can see a bit more snow with that further westwards. And as we head to the end of the model, it does sort of shift away before turning very showery. You can see quite a few showers around again, packing in. So very interesting with that. Could see some very heavy snow for southeastern areas. If we have a look at the snow amounts, reload this up, you can see snow is accumulating further north, and then overnight tonight perhaps western areas, and starting to accumulate in the southeast, and then readily accumulating in the southeast, potentially a lot of snow there. You can see maybe 10 to 20 centimetres quite widely in those sort of amber warning zones, and then perhaps for the eastwards 5 to 10 centimetres. Again, it's very difficult to forecast a westward extent. As you can see, there's quite a sharp drop-off from very, very, very significant accumulations to maybe only 2 or 3 centimetres. So again, small shifts could change this. And again, the models have been shifting these snow amounts 10 miles east-west, and they, again, could still be wrong at the moment. So it's very difficult for forecasting right now. Lastly, we'll have a look at the Harmony model. And you can see tonight we've got heavy rain, turning to snow in some of its heavier bits. The Harmony showing even at 7 o'clock tonight, and it's heaviest bits turning potentially to snow. Very interesting with that. Readily turning to snow by around 10, 11 o'clock in its heavier bits, and then all snow around 1, 2 a.m, and then turning very heavy snow in the southeast. Again, getting towards the London, perhaps even getting parts of west of London as well. So that's quite interesting to see that. Pretty much filling the whole yellow warning zone, and then we remain quite heavy snow moving in, and then it does turn showery again through Monday. You can see this sort of potential streamer, and that's coming through, sort of heading towards the north and west of London, coming through sort of Norwich area. So interesting seeing that. That could give quite a lot of snow if that did come off in those areas. And then you see the big streamers, parts of northern England, North Midlands, still snow in the southeast, parts of Wales, quite heavy snow through Monday. So very interesting, and they are coming quite far inland, so even if you are in western areas, you can still see some snow around with this. So very interesting to see that. If you finally have a look at the snow depths, you can have a look. We can see quite a lot of snow in northern England, and then the snow starts to accumulate around midnight tonight, potentially for central areas, southwestern areas, and then heavily accumulates through Sunday. And you can see where that bullseye position is with the snow, sort of more Suffolk, Norfolk, northern Kent. Again, it getting into part of London area, could see 10 centimetres potentially with this. And again, streamers showing localised 5 centimetres in either side, maybe only a trace. So again, where those streamers do set up will be very interesting indeed. So yeah, models haven't shifted too much, but again, they are showing perhaps more heavier snow further westwards. Again, the bullseye position is still where the amber warning zone is. The amber warning zone was extended early this morning, very slightly westwards, and I'll show you that in a minute. But generally, that's where the heaviest snow will be. But I do suspect there could be some areas outside of the amber warning zone who could still see some very significant snowfall from this. Still could see 10 to 15 centimetres, perhaps, where the banding sits upon you. So yeah, very interesting conditions with this, and could be very significant impacts as well. We'll run through the warnings for tomorrow. You can see snow and ice warning for western areas. That's generally for the showers overnight tonight into tomorrow, potentially giving a little bit of snow and then freezing overnight as the cold air comes in. You see snow and ice warnings generally in the east for sort of showers, and then you see snow warning with the amber warning, which was extended a bit further westwards towards the M25 and a bit further northwards towards Norwich as well. I suspect that northern area may be an area where it's a little bit the potential there for an amber. You know, looking at those models, only a few of them are really bringing that heaviest snow further northward. Still showing snow, but the heaviest sort of 10, 20 centimetres. Perhaps maybe not as far north as Norwich, but yeah, interesting with that. I'm surprised they haven't extended the amber warning zone a little bit further westwards, again, just because of the uncertainty with this scenario. There is a decent potential that at some point early this morning, the meteorologists at the Met Office see where the banding is and potentially do move the amber warning. They've done that before, extended or given an amber warning out while the snow is falling. It's a bit late then, but they have done it before, and I suspect there's potential they could do this this time. But if it does come off exactly as modelled, then I suspect this amber warning is sufficient enough for that. So if we have a look at the amber warning, what it's going to show, so yeah, slight extension to the western extent and increased likelihood of impacts. Again, if we have a look at the impact matrix, it's very close to red warning. I doubt it will get to red warning, but you know, could get to red warning there. The yellow warning is currently sitting in this square here, so again it could go either way. It's very close to an amber warning in that yellow zone as well. So an area of widespread persistent and occasional heavy snow will affect parts of southeast and east England through Sunday and into Monday, with the potential for some very significant accumulation across the eastern parts of Norfolk, Suffolk, Essex and Kent. Accumulations of snow of 5 to 10 centimetres quite widely, with the potential of 15 to 20 centimetres and perhaps 25 to 30 centimetres, and will be blizzard conditions with the heavy, with the strong winds as well. If we have a look at the yellow warning zone, you can see 1 to 3 centimetres quite widely, and then potential 5 to 10 centimetres and maybe 15 to 20 centimetres. Again, they haven't updated this yellow warning zone since Friday. So yeah, I suspect they should update it just to, or at least maybe they think it's sufficient enough at this stage. But again, yeah, interesting to see with that. Monday, same sort of warning zones again, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, just eastern areas seeing snow and ice warnings for showers again. I suspect those will be chopping and changing once there's more confidence and position of streamers and position of heavy showers. Perhaps maybe an amber warning zone could come in force, and then I suspect maybe Thursday, Friday, with those weather fronts coming in, more warnings could be enforced. We'll now have a look at the live radar image. This is from the Weather Channel. If it loads, there we go. Bring it back a frame, there we go. So you can see snow quite widely over northern England, and we've got heavy sort of rain, showery rain moving through eastern areas. Not much of this is forecast to turn to snow at the moment. In the next couple of hours, potentially. And then you can see Storm Darcy moving up, affect mainly parts of Belgium, the Netherlands, and then into eastern England with some very, very heavy snow with that. So again, very interesting looking at that at the moment. The coldest air you can see is really around Denmark, Netherlands, Germany at the moment, and it will be heading eastwards ahead of these weather fronts, turning it readily to snow. So yeah, very significant impacts could be seen. It's 7 degrees in London at the moment, and that will be dropping by about a degree an hour until it's about around freezing early tomorrow morning. So yeah, very significant impacts are coming up. I will do any, if there's any changes in the warning from the Met Office, I'll be updating you on that. So make sure you stay tuned, and thanks for watching.